Hey everyone, so you're probably watching this video because you're looking to buy a place sometime, and maybe by the time you're 30 you're figuring out how the hell you're going to get that down payment. Well, I'm here to share with you how I managed to save up over $100,000 with a basic normal salary, working a 9-to-5 job, and managed to get that down payment by the time I was 30 and able to purchase a place. So let's get started. Honestly, getting your first down payment is the hardest thing you're ever going to save up for, because you are literally going to save up every single penny to get to that spot, that dream sweet spot of getting your down payment for your first place. But afterwards, once you get that first home, and then let's say a few years down the road and then you sell it because it's grown in value, then you can add on to your down payment with the growth that you gain. So it does get easier from then on, but first we have to grind it out to get that first 100K plus to get that down payment for your future home. So tip number one is to really take advantage of living at home. Honestly, I have to say living at home was the best decision I've ever made. I know that sometimes it could be difficult living with your parents for a long time, especially when you're an adult, but it really helps you in saving money. So to put into perspective, when you, let's say, pay $700 a month and living in a roommate, and let's say times that by 8 years or so, you're literally spending about $70,000 to $80,000 during that entire time, when you could have been saving that up to put towards a down payment. So think about that. You could have had $70,000 to $80,000 put towards a down payment, but instead you chose to put it to rent. So if you do have a place at home that you could live in, then I highly recommend staying at home and saving money that way. The second tip is always pay off your debt first. So one of the biggest debt I have, as many of you probably have, is student loans, right? So what I actually did was that when I was 16, I started working. I've always had a job ever since. And whenever I earned, I always put it towards my tuition. And then anything left over was into savings. And what happens is that once I accumulated all this savings, by the time my 4-year of university ended, what I did was I used that money and paid off my student loan. So I know it sounds really hard, it's really tempting to use that money. You know, let's say you have leftover from student loan and you just want to spend it. I know, I get it, it's really hard, but really try to put that into your savings, and then once you graduate, you can actually pay it off. And I think that's what I did. I actually paid off all of my student loans after graduating, and I topped up with about $8,000, and then I kind of closed the entire debt off. All right, tip number 3 is to do a bit of freelancing gigs. So basically what I did was I followed my hobbies and my interests. I had calligraphy, I had website design, I had photography, you know. These are the things that I was interested in, and then basically what I did was I learned a bit more about these things, and I did freelancing gigs on the side. So that's another great way to bring in income when you already have a full-time job as well, because it is a lot more flexible with the hours, and then you can make a bit of side money as well, which is great. You know, either it's for your entertainment or towards a down payment, whatever it is, a little bit of extra cash really helps along the way. So my 4th tip is to do not buy a car. Do not buy a car until you absolutely have to. And what I mean is that I actually purchased my first car when I was 26 years old. So I did not have a car. I just relied basically on public transportation and also borrowing my mom's car from here and there. And that's kind of how I managed to commute to my work, etc. for the past several years of my life, right? So why is that important is because, you know, a car is a ton of payments. So having a car every month is around roughly about $500 a month if you were going to finance or lease a car. So I do recommend that if you are going to purchase a car, make sure that you are just paying it with cash. Honestly, I would not recommend someone leasing or financing unless you absolutely have to. Otherwise, just buy a car. Honestly, that is the best way to go. Whether it's a $5,000 car or $8,000 car, whatever it is, I would just pay it off in cash. And that's kind of what I would do. All right, so tip number 5 is to invest your money. It is so important to invest your money early. You know, if you're in your 20s, don't just put your money into your savings account, put it into some type of investments, whether it's an ETF or stocks or high interest savings or TFSA, which is a tax-free savings account, whatever it is, put your money there, because it really will help you out in the long run when you do see that money grow. And it's also super important to also invest regularly, right? So don't just buy it buy a big chunk of it in one go and then wait 6 months and then buy another chunk, because that is what I did, and it's absolutely not the way to go. Because when you do when the market does dip, you take a really big hit, and then when it goes up again, you only gain a little bit more, right? So make sure that you are investing gradually. Every few months you're putting some money in so that it averages out the market's volatility as well. So that is my biggest tip, is to really invest your money, invest your savings, instead of just letting it sit inside a bank account. Make the money work for you, right? So by the time that you are ready to purchase a place, you can withdraw that money and put it right towards a down payment as well. And the last tip I have is to build your credit early on. So I want to share with you is that my credit score right now sits at around 825. So which is considered pretty high, because I think like the max is 1,000 or 900 or something like that. So how do you build a credit score? Is basically through credit cards and paying off your debt. So whatever debt it is that you have, you want to pay it off as soon as possible and make the full payments every single time, whatever that looks like. So if you have student loans, make sure you make the payments for that exact amount every single month. And then you also have your credit cards. Make sure that you are paying off every single credit card you have in full and not just a minimum balance. If you have card payments as well, same thing. Make sure you're paying it off every single month, because all of these little increments really help the lender, who is your bank, decide whether you are a good candidate to lend money to. Do you have a habit of paying things off? That's exactly what they're looking for. Can you pay things off even though you are buying things, right? So keep that in mind. Build your credit score early, whether you are 18 or 19, however old you are right now watching this. You know, if you are eligible for a credit card, I'm not advising you to get one right now. But if you do want to build up your credit, it is a great way to do so. You know, start super small. Have your credit limit be at 500 or less, whatever that is, and work your way up. But the key really here is to make sure you are paying your card every single month, because otherwise your credit score will not go up, and in fact, it will take a hit as well. So with that said, this kind of wraps up my 6 tips on how I managed to save up for a down payment for my first home, and saving up well over $100,000 for that home. So living on a regular salary, just like me, you can also do it as well. And lastly, I just want to close it off by saying that, you know, I've seen so many videos on TikTok and Instagram saying like these unicorns who are able to purchase a home by the time they're 25, you know, but they have millions and millions of YouTube subscribers and whatnot. But I just want to share with you an honest story of how someone who makes, you know, a modest 60 to 70K every single year, and how I managed to save up as well. It's really all about just building a habit and consistency. And that's it for today. And make sure to not compare yourself, because everyone is unique and your own story is special to you. So make sure you stay true to yourself and don't compare yourself with others. And we'll see you around in the next video. Thanks, bye-bye. And I forgot to say, if you have found this video to be helpful, please do give this a like and subscribe. And we'll see you later. Thanks.